Hello, I'm Josephine Pekka, and I will be presenting on Campylobacteriosis. This is one of the most common foodborne illnesses. They are the most common bacterial diarrheal illness in the US, and the species C. jejuni causes 90% of Campylobacter infections. It was first discovered in 1886 by a pediatric physician who called Campylobacter a non-culturable spiral-shaped bacteria from an infected patient. Then in 1906, two British veterinarians reported large numbers of the bacterial organism from the uterine mucus of pregnant sheep who had a diarrheal illness. And it was first isolated in 1913 from aborted bovine fetuses, and they named it Vibrio fetus because it looked like a Vibrio bacteria. However, in 1963, it was proposed that it should be called Campylobacter, a new genus, because it differed biochemically and serologically from classic Vibrios. More and more studies arose because of its high incidence in human diseases, and it was only known to cause human diseases in 1980. So it is comprised of 20 species and subspecies. Not all of them are capable of causing disease. C. coli, C. epsilonensis, C. fetus, and C. laurii are also able to cause infection. However, Campylobacter jejuni causes 90% of the illnesses. It's part of the kingdom Bacteria, the phylum Proteobacteria, the class Epsilon Proteobacteria, the order Campylobacterialis, the family Campylobacteriochae, the genus Campylobacter, and the species C. jejuni. Characteristics of Campylobacter: it is a gram-negative spiral-shaped bacteria. It's microaerophilic. It has circular DNA with about 1,600,000 nucleotides, 1,700 genes, and about 1,600 coding proteins. It also contains a eukaryotic-like system for end-linked protein glycosylation, and it is a curved gram. It exhibits corkscrew motility. C. jejuni in particular is like gram-negative bacteria bacilli. It's non-fermentative. It moves in a corkscrew-like motion with its flagellum either at one or both poles, which gives it its S shape. And it contains an outer membrane with lipopolysaccharide, which are endotoxic to cells. And its optimum growth temperature is 42 degrees Celsius, which happens to be the body temperature of birds, so they colonize in birds very well. So this is just a little picture of Campylobacter. As you can see, the flagellum is at one end of the pole and it has this S shape. It adheres to intestinal mucosa and produces cytotoxins, and so it penetrates through the gastrointestinal mucus with its flagellum-mediated motility towards that mucus. So once it adheres to the enterocytes, it secretes invasive antigens and cytolethal distending toxins, which I will talk more about in the next slide. It targets the colon and causes inflammation in those intestines and reduction in absorptive capacity, which causes diarrhea in humans and other animals. And it is resistant to gastric acids and bile salts, so it's able to live in these areas that a lot of bacteria or a lot of organisms usually don't survive in. So once infection occurs, IgA is released, crosses the gut wall, causing immobilization, and the complement system is activated. So these cytolethal distending toxins have three subunits, CDTA, CDTB, and CDTC genes, which prevent the eukaryotic cells from starting the G2M phase, which prevents them from entering mitosis completely. The CDT binds to the cell membrane and then the CDTB active subunit will enter or cross the nuclear membrane and break the double-stranded DNA, causing apoptosis of the cell. So as you can see here, we have the three subunits which cross the cytoplasm. CDTB is activated and it penetrates the nuclear membrane. They're not sure whether it's direct or indirect, but it causes a breakage of DNA, causing apoptosis. Most common transmission of Campylobacter is eating contaminated food, drinking contaminated water, direct contact with animal or human feces, drinking unpasteurized dairy products, eating raw or uncooked poultry. This pathogen is known to survive freezing for several months on poultry, minced meats, and other cold food products, so it's very important to cook your meat thoroughly. So it is known to cause gastroenteritis, with its most common symptom of diarrhea, which can last anywhere from 2 to 10 days. Mild to severe abdominal pain, fever, fatigue, nausea, and vomiting are common. If it is severe enough, your doctor may administer a culture-independent diagnostic test, which detects the virus in stool. So common treatment is going to be replacement of electrolytes and rehydration. So drink lots of Gatorade and water because you're losing a lot of fluids when you have this illness. Also, the brat diet is common. So that's bananas, rice, applesauce, and toast, which is easy on the stomach and is not acidic. If severe enough, antibiotics such as erythromycin, fluoroquinolones, and azithromycin will be prescribed. Antibiotic resistance in Campylobacter jejuni is becoming more and more common with use of antibiotics. The enzyme beta-lactamase is antibiotic resistance to ampicillin and penicillin. Unregulated use of antimicrobial agents in food and animal products or production has led to the emergence and spread of the antibiotic-resistant strains. Especially use of fluoroquinolones in poultry production has led to an increase of antibiotic-resistant Campylobacter. Every year, about 1 in 10 people fall ill from Campylobacter. About 550 million people fall ill yearly. 13,000 hospitalizations per year in the U.S., and about 100 deaths per year in the U.S., and it is known to be the most common reported zoonosis in the EU, followed by Salmonella and Yersiniosis. Children younger than 5 years of age, older people, and people with weakened immune systems are at higher risk of developing severe cases. In 2018, there was a recent outbreak with puppies in pet stores, and it was traced back to about 25 breeders and 8 distributors who administered these puppies to about 6 different pet stores. These puppies were sick, and they infected 118 people, including 29 pet store owners, and these puppies were given to people in 18 different states, so all of those people were infected. Now, 149 puppies were investigated, and 95% of them were receiving antibiotic treatment for the illness, which caused them to be a source of multi-antibiotic resistant Campylobacter infections. Another outbreak was in Nebraska in 2017, which caused 39 cases of the infection, and it turned out that it was from a contaminated well, which was nearby to an animal feeding operation, which infected the water. The CDC recommends washing hands, cooking thoroughly, especially chicken, to at least 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Drinking only pasteurized milk. Washing hands carefully after even petting cats or dealing with their feces. Washing hands after changing diapers. Always wash and peel raw fruits and vegetables before eating, especially in restaurants. Um, Careful prevention and handling of raw poultry is very important, like sanitizing your cutting boards and knives. So current research is finding that Campylobacter jejuni strains are inducing Guillain-Barré syndrome, which causes an immune system attacking the nerves, leading to paralysis. And it is a post-infection autoimmune response. And they're finding it more and more direct correlation with Campylobacter jejuni. They're also researching the effects of environmental stress on Campylobacter jejuni, finding that temperature elevation and oxidative stress is not having a big effect on its growth ability, but malnutrition is having the most powerful effect on inhibiting its growth. They're also finding that the number of living bacteria in contaminated water is more than they thought, and that it's actually able to survive in water in biofilms for several months. These are my sources, and thank you for listening.